Another somebody special that I would like to introduce on the stage is my dearest colleague Willem. Because Hyvä and Molly are headline sponsors today, and Willem has a few words to share with the room. So please give it up for Willem.
Might be more than just a few words. Sorry.
You can also watch the live stream in the greenhouse if
everyone... No, come into the room. Everyone into the room. So that allowed you some time to look at that first slide, which might make you curious. A hidden agenda. It's the first time I'm paying to be upstage, and it's also the first time I'm not here to sell you a product. I want to talk a little bit about ideology and strategy and share a little bit what we've actually been doing the past 5 years. First time it clicked. Last Monday, Hyvä turned 5 years old. Was November 2020, when I was still building the product, when I decided to register a company. I accidentally made our team because I was frustrated and didn't really agree with the direction that Google and Adobe pushed us into. Google created PWA spec, and Adobe made single-page applications a synonym of PWA, and before we knew it, we were all forced to build PWAs and headless applications, and not everyone, including me, liked that very much. So I said, no, let's turn that into a product. The decision to go down the commercial route there was a very conscious one that I'm fully behind still today, which has really worked well for us. Open source has changed. It was a strange time back then, just after COVID. Magento contributions getting less and less. Many open source front-end solutions that were not as successful, many of them no longer exist today. I wanted to do things differently and create something bigger to carry this whole initiative forward. It was a clear-cut proposition. There was a product with benefits, with actually selling points, was better performance, better developer experience, and lower development cost. From the beginning, it was not a proof of concept. We implemented Hyvä while it was 4 weeks old in a live project. The proof is there. It had value. And by making it commercial, we gave the confidence to merchants that they were buying into something that had long lifespan. And it allowed us to have a laser-sharp focus on just building good products. And we soon moved on to create an ecosystem around it, because we understood that that was crucial for the success of a front end, to have extensions implemented. I think it's the biggest hurdle that we see competitors struggling with to get the adoption, and we were very lucky with the timing, but we also very consciously invested in that. Everyone in our team was building compatibility modules on the side while developing the team. We were incentivizing partners to build them with us, so that we soon had a whole range of compatibility modules that our customers could use with really good documentation and a whole video series on how to make an extension compatible with Hyvä. That meant that extension vendors already made money with Hyvä before they even knew what it was. So we went to them, we said to Amnesty, here's 50 customers that use your module today with this compatibility module, and we have 8 compatibility modules. Would you like to take over support for that? You're already making money over these extensions. So the business case was really clear, and by doing the work for these extension vendors first and then handing it over to them, adoption really skyrocketed, and the amount of extensions grew very fast. And as soon as the biggest 5 extension vendors were on board, everyone else followed. Lucky timing-wise, but also very conscious, big effort and investment. But yeah, we were 1000% committed to Magento. If you haven't noticed, our whole team, we pretty much bleed orange, and we're very passionate, have very long experience with Magento. But there was an uncertainty because just after COVID, leadership at Adobe on the commerce team had changed so many times that we didn't know who to connect to, and we kept creating relationships with that leadership, and then it would leave again. When we finally settled with leadership that we could actually talk to and get more certainty about the future support of Magento. We decided to intervene and make a statement, and we wrote the open letter, co-signed by some very big agencies, and signed by, I think, 1,600 people within 4 days. It was a wake-up call to the Magento Association, but also to Adobe and also to the community, because everyone was sleeping and no one took action, and we just decided Magento was to go and we'd go to another platform. That was pretty much how everyone felt about it. So we decided to activate people. And it was effective. We got around the table with Adobe leadership through DMA with open source task force that we set up. We spoke for many months about LTS, STS, long-term, short-term support for Magento with Eric Irway still. He left us at the moment that it was decided that this plan wasn't going to move forward, but we got the prioritization process in return, which today is very effective in getting things merged into Magento codebase. You can upvote, pull requests, and they're actually being merged, and there's a lot of movement there again. And we have an official roadmap, a future outlook from Adobe, how long they will support, or at least for the unforeseeable future, for years to come, they will support Magento with security and performance updates. So we got that by activating everyone and going to Adobe, who had no idea what this community and this code base was, and we went to them and we explained it to them and we got results. But yeah, Adobe is moving it into a code base, not so much a product anymore. We won't get a feature roadmap from them. There's no vision, it's become a code base. And we realized if we put our shoulders behind it, we could really play a pivotal role here, as long as we were able to become big enough. So the ambitions that have driven us for the past 5 years was to continue the Magento legacy for as long as we can and keep investing in Magento. And for that, we needed to grow Hyvä so that we were big enough to actually support Magento in a meaningful way, and to give back to the community. These are, truth to heart, these are the things that drive us and our team. Growing Hyvä, our first ambition, has worked pretty well. We are now 28 people, 6,000 plus stores live. And we've built a whole suite of products besides the team, checkout, UI, enterprise. And if you search for Hyvä on Reddit, even they, which is the most toxic place on the internet, I think, even they have proclaimed Hyvä to be the de facto standard front end for Magento today. And we've very firmly established in the mid-market, so say 1 to 100 million revenue GMV, where Adobe starts at 100 million GMV. We also have some pretty big, the Dolce Gusto and such customers in that range as well, but we really shine in the mid-market. We're number 19 worldwide in e-commerce technologies, globally. And we could only do all of this because we were commercial. We sold a team and we got money and we invested. We put all of that back into the company and new products. So we entered the new phase. It was almost exactly 1 year ago. I was here on stage announcing our partnership with Molly, a very commercial move. And we announced Hyvä Commerce, a product suite that would deliver a roadmap and new features and a bright future for Magento. So we're now partnering with commercial entities, industry leaders, Molly, but also Hypernote and Max clusters since recently, and they allow us to reach merchants in a very effective way. They have a lot of reach, they have deep pockets. We go to expos and we have these huge stands where merchants visit us all day, and we actually put Magento into their face. And that's a huge investment that we make. Our team is spending up to 3 months for one expo to plan everything, get the booth designed, and all of that. It's a huge investment that we make, and that's not just to put Hyvä out there, that's also to put Magento out there. And even though this is a commercial move, we're getting backing from these big companies, we haven't given up a single % of ownership, and we are fully independent and self-funded today. Our second ambition, how have we been giving back these past 5 years? We played a pretty big role in the Magento Association in different committees. Loads of people in our team are actually active in election committees, in content committees, in marketing committees. Me, myself, until very recently, have been a board member of the MA, and we continue to do all we can to support the MA. We didn't just write an open letter, but we founded Mage-OS together with some others. At some point, a lucky coincidence, we had 3 or 4 people on the board because they joined us after they became board members. So we've rectified that recently by having elections, or we, it's not really me, I'm not Mage-OS. But we've invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Mage-OS and continue to do so. And local Mage-OS chapters, look at Sanne, who has organized the first Meet Magento together with Cora, who used to work with us at that time. We spent months of investment on planning for the first Meet Magento Netherlands. And right now we have 4 people in the organization. And I'm kind of proud to say that I think this event wasn't here today if we didn't start it 3 years ago. And I don't want to downplay the investment that all the others are making. The whole organization is fantastic, but we did take initiative, and we spent a huge, huge amount of time in organizing, setting up the framework the first year and 2 years after. And I dare say that with all of these things that we do, we never push Hyvä agenda. Never at the Magento Association in the board meetings have I ever played Hyvä favors or put any card to abuse that power. Again, to support the Magento community. And we've invested in Magento events worldwide. I don't know, there's 18 here. There's Mage Titans, multiple editions, Mage conferences, and so on. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of euros are invested in sponsorship alone of Meet Magento events. That's not even travel and stay and merchandise and our booth. That's a huge investment that we put back into the community so that we can have these events that you have here today worldwide. We support all of the Meet Magento events. And with all that giving, we were still buffing up. And instead of what you might think, we were lining pockets and stacking cash, we were investing and getting ready for the ultimate way to give back. This might be the hidden agenda. So from 5 years ago, when the first conversations that I had with Vinay about strategy, where we would move it, how we would grow and what steps we would make, this one was always the milestone that we were working towards. If we do this and this, then we move one goalpost closer to our final goal. Well, not final, it's not, but the big one that we have been working towards for so long. We have a release coming up of the Hyvä Theme, version 1.4, with the codename AVA. That's finished, you can look it up after the presentation. It will launch next Monday. And this version will be open source and free. So from version 1.4 onwards, it will be open source, available through GitHub. Issues and discussions will still be on our GitLab. It will be a mirror of what we do on GitLab, but it's publicly available, meaning AI agents can read our code finally, can get good results from ChatGPT. But next Monday, 3 p.m. CST, so that's local time here, you'll be able to get a free license key from our website for the team, up to 5 per account, to keep things a little bit fair, because we're still using packages who's supporting us in a great way, but this never unlimited. And we are doing this because we want to give an impulse to the open source community and to the ecosystem. And we want to allow commercial products to be built on top of Hyvä. That's already happening, but there's still the limitation that any third-party team needs to also have their customers buy a Hyvä theme for €1,000. While these commercial teams actually shine in the lowest end of the market with the smallest budget, where people want to just get started for a couple of €100. And we kind of lost that with Magento 1 to Magento 2. The really cheap builds are no longer possible. And of course, there is maintenance and there's patching and everything involved that still brings some cost. But we see the price of a Magento or Hyvä build continue to go down. And we think that we can fortify our hold on the lowest end of the market by making it open source and free, so that junior developers, students, people that are just starting out as a developer, they have access, they can experiment, they can fail like we all did years ago, and they can grow up and create their own agency and make really cheap stores for merchants. And those merchants can then grow up and they will end up in the mid-market again. Because if there's one thing that's clear, we need to make sure that we get new blood into the community. We need to get the smallest merchants and the most junior developers to get excited about this and to grow up and move also into the mid-market, so that we get more leads and more projects, and we can shine and we can compete with the big green bag alternative platform. And it will allow more open source extensions and just a way more lively. The restriction of getting access through us to be able to build extensions will be gone, and people can build whatever they want on the team. So that's what I just covered. So allow merchants to grow with the platform. And I really believe those that have a footprint on the lowest end of the market and have some grip there, they will also have a grip on the mid-market. And if we don't take more control over the lowest end of the market, we will lose the market share that we have even more. And I really think we can turn the tide by offering these accelerator packages, pretty cheap themes and low expense stores. And we need to help these newcomers in the community to understand how they build stuff with Hyvä and Magento, so they can grow up and they can stand next to us at the event next year and also show what crazy things they've built with Magento. So what's changing? Hyvä Theme is available on GitHub and with free packages keys through our website. If you have an account, you can get up to 5 free packages keys. And we're separating Hyvä UI as a little add-on to the team to accelerate your development. So that will be a separate commercial package for €250 for one Magento instance. I consider this the donate button for when you appreciate having the team for free. But we'll continue to build Hyvä UI as we have done so far, with continuous updates and nicely designed components. We're going to move to more premium support for our paid products. So the open source product will be supported through our Slack with our best effort, which is quite famous, but no guarantees in resolving issues. We're opening up a ticketing system on our website. So if you hold a paid license through your customer account, you can also reach us through a ticketing system when you'd have UI, Checkout, Enterprise, or Commerce. Cashbacks will still be available if you previously bought your theme or checkout, or in the future your checkout or UI license. You can trade them in when you buy Commerce and you get a cashback, so your investment is never gone. Even people that already have been using the theme for 5 years, they paid €1,000 5 years ago, and they've had all this value, they still get a €1,000 discount when they buy Commerce today. No changes to the rest of the product line. We definitely need to make money, so the other products are still commercial. But you no longer need a team license if you want to use checkout standalone, for example. With Hyvä Enterprise, with Adobe Commerce support, you don't need the team license anymore. When you buy Enterprise, the team's open source version is automatically included. So that's one hurdle taken away as well. And I want to thank all of you for bearing with me for this long, but also for your continued support in the past 5 years. It's really been an amazing journey. I said it yesterday, we had a dinner, I said, Hyvä continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. The human connection, these events, what we build together, and the way that we stand up against other platforms and we continue to build together is just amazing. So thank you for your contributions to Hyvä so far. If you search, you can find a booth with our name on it and ask any questions. The commercial part today will be handled by John, so make sure you see his talk because Hyvä Commerce is amazing. Hope to see you all and speak to you all during the event and the after party. Thank you.